So what's up, everyone? It is your girl Beauty87 here, aka Grace, and I thought I'd do a series on my Colourpop collection because yes, you heard me right, series. I have so much Colourpop, so it has to be a series because you got to think they got 12 pans, they got 5 pans, they got 4 pans, they got 9 pans, and then they got the mega palettes and all the collab palettes they've come out with. So I have so much Colourpop to show and talk about, and I still have Colourpop coming now because I have the Troublemaker palette and then the collab palette that they did with, I don't know her name, is called Control something. So I have that whole collection coming too. So I'm like, I need to go ahead and start doing this now so I can start taking some of this home, because it's like, I'm telling y'all, when winter coming, I'm not enough to be out here. So I'm probably gonna have like a 3 or 4 part series just showing my Colourpop collection. So without further ado, let's get into it, because y'all know me, I talk a lot, and I'm trying to make these 30 or 45 minutes each one because I have so much Colourpop to talk about. So let's get started. So I'm gonna start off with the 4 pans, then we're gonna move to the 5 pans, and then we're gonna move to the 9 pans, and then I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do then. So I'll probably try to stop at the 9 pans just for the first video, and I figure like that should be 45 minutes. I'm gonna try not to talk about it for too long a time, because the majority of all the Colourpop I own you have seen in a video, so it's not like you can't go to the video and hear my true thoughts about it. I'm just trying to come through and show you what the color stories look like and all that sort of thing. So let's get started. So this one is Wait and See. I actually want to get the new one that they came out with, but they sold out of it. They have a new one in the similar color to this and a purple one. This one was exclusive to Ulta, if I remember correctly. I don't think I saw it on their website. Don't quote me though, it might be there, but it's just a simple little blue quad, and we know I'm a sucker for blue. So you'll see about 3 or 4 blue palettes from them with me, at least when it comes to these little ones right here, sad as it is. This is set on Sapphire. I think they had a whole set of these that you could buy still on their website now, even though this was like from last year's collection or something like that. I'm not sure, but I really like the color story of this one. Of course, we know why, because it's blue. I feel like it would pair nicely with that other one I just showed you, and probably the new one that I plan on getting when they come back in stock. I'm not gonna lie, I'm most likely gonna get it, so no need to pretend. Next, I have the, what does this say? Waffle cone. This was from that ice cream collection they had. I think I had the purple one too, and I gave it with my cousins because I wasn't really feeling that one as much as I was feeling this. I like the fact that it had the mint and then it had the neutrals to go with it. I mean, I don't necessarily like the fact that I have to use a neutral in the outer V, but you know, like for a 4 pan, it works nicely and it would get the job done quickly in a pinch. So I was here for it. Then I have an Emerald Away palette. What she looks like on the inside. I love the fact that all these have like shifting duochrome type shimmers, and for 10 bucks I feel like that's pretty good, because you get a darker outer V shade, you get your crease tone, then you get your inner corner highlight and your lid shade. So these are great little palettes, and the quality on these is actually really good. I didn't expect it to be as good as they were, because like, you know, I figured it was just like another way for them to make money, and they like throw some stuff in the pan and go on with their day, and it might not be as great, but it's actually quite good. So next one I have is Strawberry Sweet. I think this was a limited edition collection they had at Ulta as well, because I haven't seen this on their website either, but they have it on Ulta. I think they have a certain amount of like product they have to send to Ulta, and you can tell what's going to Ulta versus what they put on their website, because I feel like it's not as good sometimes, and then sometimes I feel like it is as good. So I guess it just depends. But this is what it looks like. It's just a cute little pink moment. I feel like if you didn't want to get ooh la la, this would be a good little alternative for you, because you get some of the pops of pink, but you don't have to, you know, like have a huge 9 pan palette to store in your drawers if you like to do quick monochromatic looks. Next, I have the Really Ruby palette. What she looks like on the inside. I feel like this one and the one I'm going to show you afterwards are just like an extended version of the Secret Life of a Scorpio palette, which, by the way, of course I had to buy that one, because if you did not know and you're new here and you stumbled across my Colourpop collection, I actually am a Scorpio. So anyway, this is what the Really Ruby looks like. I really like that one. I think it's nice. Let me start separating these, because some of these actually live here, so I need to separate them so I don't take them home by accident. Like those 3 live here. Next, I have the Gata Agat. I believe that's how you say it. And see, this is just like a deeper one. Again, it has the duochrome shade that you put in your inner corner, the shade to go on the lid, and then the 2 mattes that you use. So I like these just because they're a quick one and done look. When I don't want to figure out what I want to do with eyeshadow, I just use them. Now this is what I was talking about, the Secret Life of Scorpio. Now those other 2 I showed you, I feel like they're a combination of these, because it's like you got this burgundy shade Scorpio imprint in it. You have this neutral shade that you can do in the crease. You have your 2 dual chromes that you put in the inner corner and on the lid. So there's that one. Put it back in this cute little box. And now I can start taking this stuff home, because y'all, it's literally boxes all around this room for all different types of content. So I was like, I'm gonna just sit down tonight and film all my content, because I don't want to have to try to take pictures of eye looks in the dark. I hate having to do that. So all my eye looks, I unfortunately have to try to just cram in tomorrow, and it's about to be a whole hot mess. Next, I have the label of the ball. Now I did switch these quads around just because I wasn't necessarily feeling like the color story of them. So I bought the blue one and the green one, and I just combined them to make this cute little moment here as blue and green. I like the fact that both of these are duochromes, and I got like this minty dark shade for the outer V, and then I can put this purple in the crease, or vice versa, and just pick what shimmers I want to use, or just do it to eye look real quick. So I like the way I switched this one around because I wasn't necessarily feeling the way it looked before. I think this was supposed to be like the Nook palette, and then this one came with this one. I don't know anything about Animal Crossing though. I just thought they were cute little quads, and I was hoping the quality would be good, and I was right, they were. So I was happy about that. Next I have the Hello Kitty, what is it, Cocoa Cutie palette. Of course, I told you I love blues from Colourpop. What another little blue palette. I feel like this is like a small, friendly version of the High Tide palette. So, unfortunately, you can't get this one anymore. So I can't recommend that you get this one over High Tide. But I feel like this is just a miniature version of High Tide, and I like it for that. These are the type of palettes I like to take with me. I'm going on vacation or like on a weekend getaway or something like that. I would take my little Colourpop quads like this because, you know, I can have plenty of color. I don't have to worry about if I leave it behind or break it or like truly messing it too much, just because, you know, like when you go out of town, sometimes you leave stuff behind, and this was something I wouldn't mind leaving behind, but the quality is good enough for me to have purchased and take with me. So this is the Cherry Sweet palette. That's what she looks like. It's a nice little pink palette. Again, I feel like this would be to me this is really similar to the other one, but I feel like this is a little bit more monochromatic. You don't have like the dusting over shade that you had in that one to dust over your crease and on your brow bone. I feel like the Strawberry Sweet one would be a little bit better for that, but I feel like this would be a good combination with that one if you wanted to add more depth, because it has some extra pinks to it that one doesn't have. Okay, so all of those stay here. All these go home, so all the ones that go home I'm gonna put on the floor so I can remember. So then I have all my 5 pants. Yes, I have this many 5 pants. It's absurd, I know. So let's start off with the New Millennium one. This was from the Y2K collection they came out with. I didn't like one of these, so I actually decluttered it so you won't see it. I gave it to my cousins, but this is more of the pinky purple one, which I feel like we shouldn't be surprised that I kept this one. I keep all these in the box, so I'm gonna have to put them in the box after like time runs out and I start on the 9 pants, because I'm trying to get these and the 9 pants done today and have this part done, and then tomorrow maybe I'll try to do some other ones, or when I get off work one night I'll try to film as I go. But I'm trying to get this ready because, like I said, when January comes and makeup time slows down, you'll probably see this then, even though we're filming it in December. Next I have the Just the Glitch pressed eyeshadow palette. I like the color story of this one, of course, because it's like mint and it has this weird like unique purplish shade to it, and then it has like some nice duochromia shimmers to go along with the tone. So I feel like it's just a nice little cool pastel-y type 5 pan, and I was here for it. I love the Y2K collection a lot, even though I didn't necessarily like all 3 of the palettes, but I like the majority of them because there was only 3, and as you can see I just showed you 2. Okay, now next I have these fall ones in the Haunt Heat of what the 2 Haunt collection, I believe is what it was called. So I like to pair these palettes with these other palettes, so that's why I'm showing them in the order I am. This is On a Wing. This was the fall collection that they came out with. I feel like with these were just deeper versions of the ones that they came out with the summer, and some of these actually resemble some 9 pans that they have, in my personal opinion. I've done videos on them. I'll try to just remember to link my Colourpop playlist above, because I think I have a Colourpop playlist because I have so much Colourpop. But this was in a set. You had to buy like the whole set. So I bought the set and I paired these with some other ones. So I'm going to show them in the order I pair them with, if so it'll make more sense. But this was On a Wing. And then I like to pair them with Cashmere Forever. As you can see, this is like a lighter, more berryish tone and grapey tone purple. So I like to pair these together because I feel like they go hand in hand pretty nicely. Like if I wanted more neutral berryish tones, I would use the first one I showed you, On a Wing, and I'd go in with these lighter purples in the crease to give me more of that definition and dimension that I like to eye looks. And then I have these bright inner corner shades, or if I just wanted to do a fall look, I would use On a Wing on its own. But I'm trying to hold it the way I'm holding it because I found out that this one was like coming to loose and it needed to be pressed, so I'm trying not to hold it over and then it just all falls out on my pants, and I'm not feeling that today, or any day for that matter. You want the shadow to stay in the pan. Next I have Fly Away. So this is like a nice little green kind of fallish tone one. This is what it looks like on the inside. I feel like it gives like a light burnt leaf fall color story to it. I like to pair this with the lighter green one from summer again, so I'm about to show that. That would be the High Society one. And this is what it looks like. As you can see, it has much brighter and fun greens in it. So again, you have those deeper fallier greens to go with, and then I would put like this bright green on the lower lash line or this bright green in the crease, and then I would go ahead and put like this shade on the lid and just use the deeper tones in that palette to, you know, pair with this one to make a nice look, or I just use each one of them on their own depending on how I feel. I don't reach for my 5 pans as much as I should. I actually reach for the 4 pans a little bit more than the 5 pans. Not that the quality on the 5 pans is bad or else I wouldn't have so many. It's just, you know, I have a tendency to reach for the 4 pans over the 5 pans because I have to take these out of the box and then try to figure out which color story is which one. But I keep them in the box so I know the names of them, and I'm hoping to remember the names so that way it'll be easier for me to be like, oh, I like the color story of that one because I remember the name of it. So next I have the Social Butterfly. This is just, to me, a small version of the Blueprint palette. I actually did my Blueprint palette so it doesn't have any of the neutral shades in it. So that's another reason I redid it, because I knew I had this palette now. I was going to have some neutrals in it. Now, these aren't exact neutrals for me, but this one does actually oxidize and look good as a nice crease shade to transition into the blues that are in this palette. So this is a really nice color story, and I really liked it. So I actually was surprised that I liked it because it had the neutrals in it, so I ended up keeping it. And then I have, rumor has it, of course, the blue one, the blue monochromatic. I feel like, again, this is great for the reasons I mentioned in the other one, because you have some lighter shades in between, and you have some nicer shimmers to go with. Like, I can use this bright shimmer in the inner corner as opposed to having used that beige-ish type shade. And then I have like some fun deep blues, because it seems like there's a super deep blue, and then I like to do a lighter deep blue to transition with the blues that I use sometimes on the lid when it comes to shimmer. So I feel like this is a good palette for that. Okay, y'all, we only got 4 more to go. I got the oranges, and then I got the pinks, and then we'll get into the 9 pans. So now we have Over the Cocoon. So this is what she looks like right here. Cute little color story there. It's giving more like a burgundy-ish, like, I guess, orangey reddish vibe to it, but I still like to compare it with a pink palette just because I feel like it would make a nice accent colors to each other. So that's Over the Cocoon. And I like to pair it with the Too Hot palette. Now I remember a while ago this was like $2, and it was like, to me, a steal, because I was like, I really like that color story. I like that it's a nice little pink moment. Sorry, y'all, one of the boxes fell and got tired of hearing me talk about the other ones and not talk about it. So unfortunately, like, I feel like these break kind of easy because it's like this pink shade I'm noticing now I had to press back in as well. But again, I told you I don't really reach for these that often, so that might be why I didn't notice, and I had to cram all this stuff in a box and in some bags just to get it over here. But this color story is really gorgeous. Again, you see why I would like it, because it has this deeperish reddish pink. And then I can put this in the crease, and then it's super deep on the outer V. And just, I like having the contrast of them. So since I had one that was lighter and one that was darker, that's how I choose to pair them. And I, you know, I like the way it turned out. Please do not fall, you're already broken. The next one I have is All Aflutter. So this was the last one that came in that set with all the deeper ones that you've seen with all the butterflies on it. This to me is like a burnt orange type color story for you. And of course I pair it with a lighter, brighter orange, because that's just more of me. I don't really use orange that much, so this is like the least used set that I'm about to show you, which is why I was at the bottom of the barrel. But this is Statement Piece. So this is the last one that came to the summer collection. As you can see, it has this brighter fun orange to go with that deeper one, and it just gives some really nice shimmers. So I actually got rid of the Orange Glad palette because I was like, I have this and I don't need that, because I don't really reach for orange. Orange isn't my thing. I do not like the color orange, and so you'll see very limited orange in my collection. Okay, y'all, let me move these out the way now and grab the 9 pans. I tried to sit them right next to me so that way I wouldn't have to reach too far or do too much. Now I have bigger 9 pans, and then I have like smaller 9 pans, but I think I have all the 9 pans here that are actually fully made up. Some I have just to, like, you know, use to make other palettes with, because if you all remember, like, I like to recreate my Colourpop palettes when I feel like the color stores aren't giving what I want them to give. So those I have here, and then I have some that I recreated myself, so I'm trying to put those to the side and have it like a fun part for the end of the video, like, oh, I recreated all these palettes myself, here's what color stories I prefer versus what they actually made type thing. So I'm trying to go through now and make sure I didn't pull any of those in, and it seems like I pulled in quite a few because I've made quite a few 9 pans. So let me put those to the side. I want the grand finale to be something interesting and fun, as opposed to like, oh, here are the mega palettes, okay, bye. So I'm trying to make sure I get that done. So I have this 9 pan Coast is Clear palette. One with the blue tone, blue and purples I did end up getting, or the mint and purple, but it's in my box for disappointing products of 2022, so needless to say, I don't really want to be showing it because I'm not that impressed with it, but I do have it in my collection, and I think I like used it once, so I wanted to let you all know that I do have it and I wasn't impressed with it, so that's why I'm not showing it. But this one is nice. The shimmers in it work nice. It's more of like a mauve-ish color story. What I don't like about this one is like 2 of the 4 matte shadows that you get in here are sequin shades, and I don't like sequin shades, so I'm not a huge fan of that part of the palette. But otherwise, it's good quality, and it's not like it's a bad palette. It's just more of I'm not feeling the fact that, you know, it's got sequin shades in it. And since I only get 9 shades, I want all the mattes to be mattes I can use. And all the mattes in there technically aren't mattes I can use because they don't all work for my skin tone. That's another story for another day. So we have the Child palette. I don't have the actual Mandalorian palette or the C3PO, the gold one. I don't have that one either. I don't watch Star Wars, so I don't know. But this is what it looks like on the inside. I think this is a cute little color story. And plus, I just thought the Child was so cute till I like had to have it. So I love the color story on this. I think the packaging is really nice, and the quality of this is actually really good. Again, with one of these sequin shades, I wasn't a huge fan of that, but it's a good quality palette overall. So it got to stay in my collection. The next one I have, of course, is the Dark Vader one. If you know anything about me and the color stories I like, you won't be surprised why I have the Dark Vader palette. Because, I mean, look at this. This is definitely me. To me, this is like a good dupe for the Waiting Room palette from Mented Cosmetics. If you didn't get your hands on that palette, I feel like this would be a good alternative for you. I'm not saying it's an exact dupe, but it's a good alternative. And since you can't get the Beetlejuice and Melt anymore unless you pay somebody $5 million on Bakerie, since everybody likes to overcharge on there for limited edition makeup, then I would suggest you get this. They had it on sale for $9. I think they ended at 30% off sale, but every once in a full moon they'll have all their 9 pans on sale for $9. So just make sure you get to snatch it up when you do. I planned on getting the Mandalorian like that, but I ended up waiting too long for the sale, and the sale ended, so I missed out on it. But you know, it's okay. I'll get it another time. It's not, I'm not like in a rush to get it because it's not like it's something I can film new with content, so I'm okay with getting that one on sale. Okay, now we're gonna get into all the monochromatic palettes. So we're gonna start off with the Blue Moon. Y'all know this is one of my favorite palettes from Colourpop. This is one of my all-time favorite blue palettes just in general. I like this, and then the BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin is really good, but I really like this palette. Like when I go for a blue palette, I like to use all my Colourpop blue palettes together and come up with a really unique and fun color story. And I feel like every monochromatic blue palette they do gets better and better. I feel like they always have nice color stories. I'm not that crazy about On Cloud Blue, but I like the fact that they didn't pick any of the same blues that are in this palette for that palette, so I was happy about that, and I'm happy to have this one in my collection. Then I have, like I said, On Cloud Blue. I need to find a shade to replace that pressed glitter in because I'm not feeling the pressed glitter being in there at all. This is what I was talking about in another video where I'm like, Colourpop, we've told them about these pressed glitters, but they keep putting them in there and people don't appreciate it, but they keep doing it. But I'm like, if we keep buying it, then I guess they're like, you know, what you're saying isn't matching what you're doing, so we're going to keep doing it and whatever. Anyway, this is what it looks like. As you can see, none of the tones in here are the same as the tones I just showed you in the last palette. And then they had the nerve to come out with a third blue monochromatic palette, and still none of the shades were the same. That's why I love buying their blue monochromatic palettes, because they always find different blues. Even though I feel like High Tide is a little bit more in the turquoise, just like greenish blue side as opposed to actual blue, but I still like the color story that they chose. Again, I'm not feeling this sequin shade here, but I feel like the majority of colors in here look really nice. I want to get that quad and see if it's similar to this too. That's another reason I want to get the quad, because I feel like the quad is like a miniature version of this giant palette. So if you don't want this giant palette, you can have that little quad, and that's how people can add pops of blue in their collection. So I feel like it was genius on their part to come up with the 4 pans, because it's like for people who don't like to use color that often but want to have color in their collection, they can easily buy like 4 or 5 of the little 4 pans or 5 pans from Colourpop, have some color in their collection with a decent quality formula, and then just spend their money on like higher end neutral palettes if that's what their everyday thing is. Next, I have the Colourpop Lilac You a Lot palette. I meant to show It's My Pleasure first, but this one's sitting on top. This one is actually brand new. I ended up having to buy another one after mine broke, so I have not actually used this one yet. Y'all know I've been testing out a whole bunch of other purple palettes that came out this year, because blue, green, and purple is all the rage in 2022. I did a whole video on palette patterns, so I feel like I haven't really reached for this one because I've been having to test out all the other blue, green, and purple palettes that have come out, or the blue, pink, and purple palettes that have come out. Next, I have It's My Pleasure. It's My Pleasure is a classic. I had to rebuy another one of these too because it ended up breaking, so I took the shades out of this one and the Lilac You a Lot that ended up getting damaged, and the rest of them I just put in different palettes that I needed more colors in, and just rebought these when they I had my best friend Jackie rebuy these for me during Christmas time, so I was excited about that. So That's what it looks like. I feel like they do blue and purple palettes really well when it comes to color stories, and the performing quality on them is really nice as well. Next I have Orchid Unite. It took, oh, my mirror's trying to fall out. Y'all, my mirror is trying to come out this palette. Hold on. Okay, anyway, sorry. So I'm trying to, I was hesitant about getting this one because I was in a rush to get it, but I feel like it might be a good dupe for the She's and Parties palette, or it might be a good palette mashup, or palette comparison, yeah, for the She's and Parties. So that's why I ended up going ahead and getting this. I actually like this better than She's and Parties. I feel like they just have a lot of deep shades in there. There's not enough shimmers and mattes to transition in She's and Parties to get. So I'm glad I ended up getting my hands on this. I think I got it when it was on sale for $9, like I was telling you all, the 9 pans. Or either my friend got me this one as well, because I had told her about 2 or 3 palettes that I needed to get, that I wanted to get, and she went ahead and got them for me for Christmas last year, so I was thankful about that. Next I got Ooh La La. I had to buy another Ooh La La too because mine was so old. I bought a new one, and then, like, I think, yeah, some of the shades stopped working the way they're supposed to, so I had to get a new one to use. But I still use some of the shades in here to put in other Colourpop palettes just to make them more aesthetically pleasing, even if I don't necessarily use that shade. But this is what she looks like. This is actually the first 9 pan that they came out with. They came out with it on Mean Girls Day, October, I think it's 25th, but don't quote me. But I remember this coming out and I was like, oh, yes, I need it. And that's when their monochromatic thing to get. So they did that one, and then I think they did It's My Pleasure, and then they did Blue Moon and some other ones. But we'll get into the other ones in a minute. Next I have Fine Feather. This one came out when High Tide came out, but I stacked them in the order in which I use them as far as colors go. So that's why this one's behind Ooh La La, because obviously this has deeper tones that would go with Ooh La La better, and I try to stack them like that so I know where they are and I can just grab both instead of having to look around my collection and try to find the stuff, because that's a lot of work to do considering how big my collection is, as you can see, because we've been sitting here almost 20 minutes and I haven't even shown you any 12 pans. I've literally just shown you 4 pans, 5 pans, and we're like halfway through my 9 pans. But I like this color story. Again, I'm not a fan of them putting the sequin shadows in here, but it's like, it's something I can tolerate because it's only one as opposed to a pressed glitter. I'll take a sequin shadow before I take a pressed glitter any day. So there's that. Next I have Honey. I just remembered I changed a couple of colors in here, so I'm trying to decide if I'm going to show it or not, but I guess I'll just go ahead and show it since I've already shown it. But as you can see, the green didn't originally come in here, but I literally just took the green out. I didn't change anything else in here because I wanted pressed glitter to be going. I feel like these 2 yellow shades here are a little too close in color to where we didn't need both of them. I just didn't want the pressed glitter, so I guess this one is a pass to show because it's only, like, you know, 1 shade. It's not that big of a, like, recreation to where I feel the need to. Like my Just My Luck, I feel like that's a big creation because I took half the shades out of Meant to Be, and I took half the shades out of and then I kept half the shades in Just My Luck to create that palette because I wasn't crazy about everything in Meant to Be, so I got rid of that. Next I have Cherry Crush. I don't own that many red palettes, so I think I have this one. I have the Cherry on Top from Mented Cosmetics, and I have the Cherry Icy palette from Glamlight, and I think those are the only 3 red palettes I have because I don't really do that much of monochromatic red looks, but this is what it looks like on the inside. I really like the color story of this palette. I think it looks really nice. I didn't change anything in this one for once, but some of the colors I feel like are just too close for comfort when it comes to like pairing them together and doing eye looks together. So I feel like you have to go down each row or else it's not gonna work out for you that well. So that's what I don't necessarily like about this palette, but I like it well enough to keep it. And I love how my friend Jackie was talking so much crap about it, and then she went ahead and like bought it when it went on sale on Colourpop website after she talked all that crap. It was hilarious to me. But yeah, next let's get into this one. So this is the Baroque palette. I really like the color story on this, but the problem is there's so many sequin shadows in here, and then I feel like it's kind of somewhat muted because I don't really use it that often. To me, this seems like a less fun version of Blueberry Muffin, because I feel like Blueberry Muffin has a lot of these types of tones in it, but it still has like fun pops of blue and other blues. To me, this just seems like a deep, dark, grungy-esque type floral vibe that they were trying to give with this. And don't get me wrong, like the quality on this is really nice. I don't know, I think I hold on to it for the packaging, and because I do like color stories like this every once in a full moon, and I wanted to have like an affordable version of it. But they don't make it anymore, but still I feel like that palette was definitely slept on by the brand. So the next palette I have to talk about is In the Limelight. So wait, no, I can't talk about this one. I recreated this one a little too much to be talking about it along with the Tinkerbell one, so they have to go in my remade category. So I think that's all I have to show you all today, now that I think about it, because I think the rest of the palettes are either collab palettes or what do you call it? Well, I guess I can show a few 12 pans just because, you know, I wanted to make it like 30 minutes. It's only like 20, so hold on a second. So I'll show these few that I didn't change the color stories to, and then we'll end the video. Because I have quite a few I've actually changed color stories to, even like mega palettes. Like, I've actually changed color stories for real. Because they weren't giving what they needed to be giving me, so I changed them. So I have the Cabana Club. This is a good alternative for the what is it, Summer in Central Pay from BH Cosmetics is a good alternative for this palette, because I know Colourpop doesn't make this one anymore. Y'all know they'll come out with palettes and 20 minutes later it's gone and they're not coming back, and they didn't have like 40 collections. So if you wanted a color story similar to this one, I would definitely say look for Summer in Central Pay on Mercari, or see if you can find it in your local TJ Maxx and Marshalls, or see if they still have it on BH Cosmetics website. I don't know what's on their website. I haven't been on it in ages, ever since they filed for bankruptcy and got sold to Make a Revolution. I haven't really checked into anything they have, but I know the Summer and Central Pay color story is really similar to this, because I actually did a few videos on a few palettes that were similar to Colourpop from BH and my eyeshadow versus. If you're new to my channel, I do this thing called eyeshadow versus, and I put two brands against each other with similar color stories, and we try out the formulas and things of that nature, and then I do an eye look with each one to determine which one I feel is the best based upon my personal preferences. And since you come here for my personal preferences, I figure that works. So the next one I have is Lush Life. We all were going crazy over Lush Life in, I think it was 2019, 2020, something like that. Like, this palette was just giving. Everybody was here for it. To me, this is like a smaller version of the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay. So if you have the Beauty Bay palette from the Wilderness Beauty Bay palette, I feel like this would be a good, I mean, I feel like you already have these shades and you should be just fine. I know there's a little more muted because, you know, they have these neutral colors on both sides, and you have like these shades sort of toward the inside, but to me this is like also a good version of the, what is the Huda Beauty Chameleon palette. I feel like this has a really similar color story to that. So there's that. Next, I have the Sonic Bloom. I really love the packaging and the color story of this. I did take one shade out of here, but it was because the shade was a little bit too light for my skin tone. So I figured I can show it to you because it's just one shade. I literally like put this yellow shade in here from another palette, and they had like a really lighter, ashy, shorter shade that wouldn't work for my skin tone. So once I changed that out, I basically loved this palette and the color story of it. I love that it gives you like all this depth here, because you can put this on your outer V, you can put this on your lid, stick that in your inner corner. Same with all the rolls, you can throw down all the rolls and do that. And this roll works better for me now doing that same thing, because I had this yellow as opposed to that light ashy peachy shade they had. So I really like the way I redesigned it. I mean, I didn't have to do much to redesign it for once. With some Colourpop palettes, I feel like I have to do way more than others, but this wasn't one of those, so I was happy about that. Now I'm gonna come in with a couple of classics that I feel like, you know, they should have kept and they didn't. Well, at least one for sure. Everybody agrees with me on this. This is the Good Sport palette from Colourpop. Everyone loves this palette. Everyone is mad that they got rid of this palette, because I mean, it's a fun, unique, grungy color story, which is something they don't do as a general rule. So the fact they had something unique and fun, and they were like, no, we need to make more boring brown palettes, and took it away, I was like, what are you doing? Who's running its headquarters? You need to be fired immediately. Y'all need to make a Good Sport 2.0, or y'all need to bring Good Sport back the way you bought the Churro highlight and all the other stuff that y'all bring back from time to time when you feel like it. You need to bring back the Good Sport palette too and stop playing with people. This palette was fire. This is one of the best palettes you all have come out with as far as color story and formula, and you need to quit playing with it, buddy. I feel like the Sonic Bloom one has a little hint of it in there, but it doesn't have enough to, like, you know, feed the hunger of the people who like those deeper, grungier tones, and they need to bring Good Sport back. Next, I have Sweet Nothings. This was a holiday collection from Ulta that came out a while ago. They had a palette that was, they have a palette now that's similar to them, and I'm actually going to show you after this. They're not exact, but I feel like this is like a good alternative. Like, I feel like the new palette is a good alternative for this one if you don't have this one. I have both of them, of course, because I am a Colourpop hoarder. Plus, I just love like the color story of this. Like, I like that it has these cool turned purples in it. It has lots of nice shimmers. It has one sequin shade. This is when they first started doing sequin shades, when this palette came out, because that's when I started noticing these sparkles in my mattes, and I wasn't feeling it. But I love the color story of this overall. I like the other one I had as well, but it looked too close to the I Love Sada E or Karen's eyeshadow palette, so I was like, I don't need this palette because it looks really similar to another palette. So I think I ended up just taking some of the shades out and switching it around or giving it away to my cousin. I forgot exactly what I did with it, but I don't have it anymore, I can guarantee that. Next, I have the Enchanted palette. This is the palette that they came out with recently, and this is what I was talking about. I feel like it looks similar to that other one I just showed you, because look at the colors in here. They are like Why is that line in the shade? Sorry. But yeah, I feel like this is really similar to that one. It's a 5 brand dupe itself. I feel like that one's definitely on the cooler end, but I feel like this has a nice cool and warm tone mixture to it, and that one was a little bit more cool. So that's why I said it's a good alternative. It's not gonna be exact because that one's much cooler, but I still like this one. And as you've seen, I've just shown you like 4 purple palettes from Colourpop. Can you tell I love purple and like blue? I haven't shown that many greens, but I don't feel like they come up with that much green that often for me to be able to show off. So this one's actually brand new and I haven't used it yet. This one I had for a while. I haven't used it either. I was trying to debate if I should put it in the giveaway or if I should just keep it for myself. Because I was thinking about pulling the tones out of this one to like use in other palettes when I need to create palettes. I know Andrea Montanaro talks about how much she likes this palette. I have never used it, so I can't say. But this is what it looks like on the inside. I think I got mine at I either bought this on Colourpop's website or Ulta for close to 50% off, because this isn't necessarily a color story that I would love, but you know, I figured I could pull some shades here and there to make a palette that I could possibly love. So that's why I ended up with it. But I'm thinking I might just go ahead and put it in a giveaway. We're really close to 1,000 here on YouTube, so when we get to 1,000, you might see this in the giveaway, you might not. I'm not 100% sure yet, but since it's in my Colourpop collection, I wanted to show it to you. Okay, y'all, so that's all the Colourpop I have for this episode. I'll have a couple more episodes of my Colourpop collection coming. So when we get back, we're going to start on my collab palettes. And then we're going to start on the, and then we'll do the mega palettes. And I think the last episode will best be the ones that I recreated myself. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. Let me know how much Colourpop you have down below. I'm just curious because I feel like since they're so affordable, a lot of us go crazy because we're like, oh, we can get the same color story from Colourpop and it won't cost as much. And then we end up with like 40 Colourpop palettes and we don't know what happened with all the blur. Because that's what happens to me sometimes. I'm like, it's all a blur. I don't know what happened. And then I have Colourpop palettes coming out while I'm talking crap. And then I bought the Muppets one too. So it's like you're going to see a whole bunch of Colourpop here. You've already seen the Muppets video, I'm sure. But the other ones will be coming shortly. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.